Hey everybody, it's Glenn back in this video with the Marvel Legends 12-inch Spider-Man. Do. The packaging's all kinds of fancy with its shiny pics. Reminds me of opening Marvel cards back in the 90s and flipping out when I get a rare foil one. So here is Spider-Man out of packaging and side by side with the Iron Man that I already reviewed, and I like the scale between them, with Iron Man being a guy in armor is more suitably taller and bulkier in proportion, with Spidey more lean and slender. Taking a closer look, and the webbing pattern of the costume is all deco, and for the most part it's really quite crisp. I actually like the webbing being deco. Back in the Toy Biz days they would often sculpt the webbing pattern either raised on the surface or inset into it. While I'm a proponent of sculpting, it being deco I think makes it less busy and affords a more comic book look. Yet details in the sculpt I do appreciate are the parts such as below the Spider-Man symbol, where the sculpt indicates the costume being fabric, creasing as it stretches over his body. No doubt the 6-inch Pizza Spidey from the Hobgoblin wave was a big hit with many of us, and I do sense Hasbro cottoning onto that and keeping it at the back of their mind as they produce this 12-inch one. Yet it isn't just simply a scaled up version, as it does present a number of differences, the most noticeable of which is that the 12-inch one has a darker blue colour. Now, a detail that initially wowed me is his web shooter there, sculpted raised in relief and then painted silver. It's not a detail I recall ever seeing on any other Spider-Man action figure, a detail that this larger 12-inch scale can take advantage of. However, it's placed on the inside of the wrist, which is fine for a vanilla pose, yet attempt a web shooting one, and that requires rotating the arm, which then displaces the web shooter. It's not really something that can be fixed, it's either have the detail or not have it, I guess. Now, you may have already seen some of the great and good of YouTube review this Spidey, and I don't know if they got sent pre-release samples, yet a key difference I've noticed between mine, which I bought at retail, is that unlike their ones, which followed Pizza Spidey's arm pegs, in that they were red, which only matched one side, yet on my version, so I assume the entire mass release, to their credit, Hasbro have corrected that by painting the red pegs blue on the inside of the arms, making for a lot less of an eyesore. I wish for a little more of that kind of consideration when it comes to the arms, where the lower arm is moulded from red plastic, then the upper arm moulded from blue plastic with red paint applied, then sandwiched between the red plastic of the shoulder joint. And as such, you can see the red paint of the upper arm isn't a match. I'm probably being picky there, but having coughed up $64.99 for this, I think I've bought the right to be just that. I do really like the head sculpt. The eyes of the mask are sculpted raised in relief, with the white painted with a pearlescent sheen. The eye shape is quite gestural, and I like in profile you can clearly see the point of his nose and chin, really creating a sense of this being a fabric mask stretched over an actual face. Then additionally, he comes with not one but two interchangeable heads. They comprise Peter entirely unmasked, then also half-masked as per the interchangeable head that came with Pizza Spidey. Really nice flesh tones, and I like the subtlety in changing tone for the lips, yet I don't like the full unmasked head as much as I wanted to. Maybe they didn't quite nail the positioning of the eyes, I don't know, something bugs me about it. As for the half-masked head, I love it. I loved it with Pizza Spidey, and here on a larger scale it's even more to enjoy, and I just find that smile totally infectious. Then, like Pizza Spidey and more recently Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter and Miles from the Space Venom wave, he comes with a trio of hands, the web slinging and clenched fist ones, then these more wall crawling ones. Now, looking at articulation, and the head rotates side to side, it doesn't tilt to the side as much as the 12-inch Iron Man did, and then he's able to, well, bury his chin into his chest pretty much, and then looks up a decent amount too. At the shoulder his arms rotate, and then they hinge up to just about right angle to the body. Then he has those armpit cum butterfly joints which moves the arms backwards and forwards. There's upper arm rotation followed by a double jointed elbow. Then at the wrists the hands rotate and they're hinged, moving down and also up. As with the 12-inch Iron Man, no waist rotation on Spidey, but instead of that he has a rotating diaphragm joint, and then this joint also moves this far forward and then moves this far back. In addition to that, it has an ab crunch. So essentially they've doubled down on how much you can move him forward and limbo him back, but is that a worthy sacrifice of the waist rotation? I'm not sure, and I'm sensing from people no. At the hips his legs move out, well, not very far to the side, they move much further forward, and then they move, well, hardly back at all. There's upper leg rotation followed by a double jointed knee, there's lower leg rotation, and then at the ankles his feet are hinged moving backwards and forwards, and they have that crazy ankle rocker pivot that I love. Yet with the limits of the hip articulation, he's not able to take full advantage of that ankle pivot. Yet some compensation is the return of toe articulation. That's classic Toy Biz engineering that Hasbro phased out. Not that it's the most important of articulation, but it does add a little something when it comes to, say, walking poses, that kind of thing. So all things considered, and I feel like Hasbro have made more of a success of their 12-inch Spider-Man than they did with Iron Man. Not that Spidey is perfect by any means, but his imperfections are less glaring. So the future of Legends in this scale? Well, at San Diego Comic-Con, Hasbro have revealed their 12-inch Deadpool, which I won't be able to resist getting. And fellow YouTuber Rob D21 Beast Pollock asked me what I'd like to see, and I'd agree with him. It would be great if we got a Sentinel or Giant Man in this line, things we can scale with 6-inch Legends, but beyond that a 12-inch Venom would be awesome. Classic Venom that is, which it seems is returning in Marvel now post Civil War 2. Anyway, do what that 12-inch Deadpool was doing and give this video a big thumbs up, and if you missed my look at the 12-inch Iron Man, well, catch up by clicking this video now, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye.